Geospatial capabilities are a broad enterprise. Satellites, planes, drones are really the latest entrant into that area.
As far as I know, we're the first to bring tactical mapping to the military.
Artemis does introduce a new kind of geospatial capability to an enterprise that's accustomed to satellites that have been honed over decades.
There's places that satellites can go that Artemis can't, but then there is a level of resolution, of fidelity, and of accessibility that Artemis provides end users that satellites can't match. Artemis stands for Aerial Reconnaissance Tactical Edge Mapping and Imagery System, and it is a self-contained geospatial tool that allows users to collect, aggregate, analyze imagery at the tactical edge.
The way to describe the clarity of the Artemis data is really in centimeters. Your traditional satellite image only goes down to about 30 centimeters. The Artemis cameras will collect to 3 centimeters of imagery. Every 3 centimeters of collection, you're going to see the correct terrain. So you can see cars, you can see a mirror poking out from the side of a car. Satellite imagery is what we've had for quite a while. And it's great stuff, but it only goes so far. We can only put so many satellites over so many places around the world, and there's always a gap.
A lot of my deployments were outside of Iraq and Afghanistan. At some of these locations, there is a lack of map data, but then there's also a lack of access. A lot of it was based upon having to be connected to the internet or some type of imagery database. And oftentimes that is problematic.
We try to take Google Earth and get all kinds of different imagery into it. And it aggregates all that content into a laptop for a user who's totally disconnected from a network.
The relationship that we have with NGA and the Google Earth Enterprise platform is extremely important because that's what takes this imagery from local to global. The goal for Artemis is to get it in the hands of as many users as possible, because it allows us to democratize this imagery collection. Then this crowdsourced info is shared amongst not only the users there on the ground, but because of the Google Earth Enterprise, we're able to push that up to the National Geospatial Agency, where it can then be disseminated to a broad range of potential users.
Artemis is active across Africa, being tested in Europe. It's extensively applied throughout the Middle East and Central Asia, and there's also activities to test it in the Pacific area.
I'd like to welcome you all to Stump Technologies. And for training is groups of 6 to 8 operators. We start off in the classroom, and we'd like to get them out in the field as quickly as we can. This is the central body for the aircraft. The overall weight of the entire system is about 25 pounds when it's boxed up in its ruggedized carrying case. And we'll go ahead and assemble the wings. The aircraft itself is very light, weighs 2.2 pounds. That makes it easy to hand launch. So we don't require any type of catapult or any assistance to get it into flight. To a trained operator, the launch is very simple. You just shake the drone 3 times, the motor starts up, does a couple of aileron checks, and then you rotate the drone up to 45 degrees and toss it into the air.
If anything's gonna go wrong, it's the launch or the landing. So if you can practice the launch as many times as possible correctly, and it becomes muscle memory. I actually compare it to the game cornhole, but you just pretend like you have a water bottle in your hand. You just toss it like you're trying to get it on the board.
Classic examples of Artemis in use was in Iraq. They were actually going out and capturing imagery of their objectives just hours before they began kinetic operations on them. The ability for them to fly, collect, process, and then disseminate that data to a variety of different users oftentimes happen in an hour or less. That's pretty powerful.
Currently, we have a lot of special forces using Artemis, but civil affairs, fish and wildlife, they have different use cases for Artemis as well.
We had a 2-week trip to Africa. We worked with the 83rd Civil Affairs team there to identify large camps of poachers that exist out in the jungle and then take action.
Artemis is all about getting information that a soldier can use at the tactical edge. If we don't do that successfully, the whole project is for naught.
Being able to utilize an unmanned drone is pretty awesome. I mean, it's going to expedite the amount of time we have on ground. You know, just bring in another tool to the mission and allow us to perform the task with less people in a faster amount of time.
In the military, I'm used to half-meter imagery, color imagery, which is classified, and Artemis delivers me 3-centimeter imagery. I mean, that's the bomb diggity. That is the best imagery I've ever seen. The detail, the high resolution, that's unheard of. The other great thing, it's unclassed. We can share that imagery with our partner force, and now we can work more cohesive as a unit.
Artemis, I believe, is changing everything. Back in the early day, you had a paper map that who knows how old it was. Now you have real-time imagery in the forefront.
The other good thing about Artemis is it's pretty simple. You put in basically your mapping mission, your start point, and your landing point, and then Artemis, the program, it just basically does it for you.
Artemis is continually evolving. We iterate every month. Artemis is not just a drone, but it is a toolbox of capability.
In an ecosystem that includes satellites and aerial collection of imagery, drones are really the next step. And it's exciting to watch all of these new pixels show up in an enterprise of capabilities that we've been working with for years, but previously never thought that we could achieve something of this exquisite value at such a low price point.
Artemis is the Greek goddess of hunting and wildlands, and that's exactly what we're doing at the tactical edge. We're hunting.